Hello, and welcome to the Divorce Lawyers podcast, brought to you by DivorceLawyers.ca. I'm Deepa Taylor, and we're here to guide you through the complexities of family and divorce law in Ontario. Whether you're considering divorce, currently navigating the process, or just curious about the legal landscape, this podcast is here to provide you with the information you need. Remember, the information discussed in this podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. For personalized guidance, please consult one of our family lawyers by visiting DivorceLawyers.ca. Today, we're going to dive deep into a topic that is often at the forefront of people's minds when going through a divorce: the financial aspects. Financial considerations can be one of the most contentious and complicated parts of the divorce process, but understanding them is crucial to ensuring that you emerge from your divorce on solid financial ground. Divorce is not just an emotional and legal journey, it's a financial one as well. When a marriage ends, the financial lives of both parties are forever altered. This can involve everything from the division of assets and debts to the determination of spousal and child support. Today, we'll explore these key areas and help you understand what you can expect and how to best prepare. Let's start with the division of assets and debts. In Ontario, the division of property during a divorce is governed by the principle of equalization of net family property. But what exactly does this mean? When a couple divorces, each spouse is entitled to an equal share of the net family property, essentially the wealth accumulated during the marriage. This includes everything from real estate, bank accounts, and investments to more personal assets like cars, furniture, and even pensions. However, the process isn't as simple as just splitting everything down the middle. To determine what each spouse is entitled to, the net family property of each spouse is calculated. This involves taking the total value of each spouse's assets at the time of separation and subtracting their total debts. Any assets brought into the marriage, with the exception of the matrimonial home, are typically excluded. The difference between the two calculations is then equalized, meaning the spouse with the higher net family property must pay the other an equalization payment to balance things out. But what about debts? Debts accumulated during the marriage, like mortgages, loans, and credit card debt, are also included in the calculation. If one spouse took on more debt than the other, this will be factored into the equalization payment. It's important to note that this process can become quite complex, especially when it involves significant assets like a business, or when one spouse attempts to hide or undervalue assets. In these cases, it's crucial to work with a skilled family lawyer and potentially a forensic accountant to ensure that all assets and debts are accounted for and fairly valued. Next, let's talk about spousal support. Spousal support, sometimes referred to as alimony, is money paid by one spouse to the other after a separation or divorce. The purpose of spousal support is to compensate for any financial disadvantages one spouse may have suffered during the marriage or as a result of its breakdown, and to help them transition to post-divorce life. Spousal support is not automatic. It depends on several factors, including the length of the marriage, the roles each spouse played during the marriage, the financial needs and means of each spouse, and the impact of child custody arrangements. In Ontario, spousal support is determined using the Spousal Support Advisory Guidelines. These guidelines provide a range of possible spousal support amounts and durations based on the income of both spouses and the length of the marriage. However, the guidelines are not legally binding, and the actual support awarded can vary based on the unique circumstances of the case. For example, if one spouse gave up their career to raise children or support the other spouse's career, the court may award spousal support to compensate for that sacrifice. On the other hand, if both spouses are financially independent and capable of supporting themselves, spousal support may not be necessary. It's also important to consider the tax implications of spousal support. In Canada, spousal support payments are typically tax-deductible for the payer and taxable income for the recipient. This can have a significant impact on the financial situation of both parties and should be carefully considered when negotiating spousal support. Child support is another critical financial aspect of divorce that needs careful attention. Unlike spousal support, child support is the right of the child, not the parent, and it cannot be waived by agreement between the parents. In Ontario, Child support is determined based on the federal child support guidelines, which set out the amount of support that should be paid based on the paying parent's income and the number of children. The guidelines are designed to ensure that children continue to benefit from the financial means of both parents, even after a divorce. The basic child support amount covers the day-to-day expenses of raising a child, such as food, clothing, and shelter. However, in addition to this base amount, parents may also be required to contribute to special or extraordinary expenses, also known as Section 7 expenses. These can include things like daycare, medical and dental expenses, extracurricular activities, and education costs. It's important to remember that child support is a separate issue from access or custody. Even if the paying parent has limited or no access to the child, they are still required to pay child support. On the flip side, a parent cannot deny access to the other parent as a way to enforce child support payments. Adjustments to child support may also be necessary over time. For instance, if the paying parent's income changes significantly, either parent can apply to have the child support amount recalculated. Additionally, child support typically continues until the child turns 18, but can extend if the child is still in school or dependent due to a disability. One of the most emotionally charged and financially significant assets in a divorce is the matrimonial home. In Ontario, the matrimonial home has special status under family law. Regardless of whose name is on the title, both spouses have an equal right to live in the home until they agree otherwise, or a court orders a different arrangement. When it comes to the division of property, the value of the matrimonial home is treated differently from other assets. Unlike other property, you do not get credit for bringing the matrimonial home into the marriage. This means that the entire value of the home is included in the equalization calculation, regardless of who owned it before the marriage. Deciding what to do with the matrimonial home can be one of the most difficult decisions in a divorce. Options include one spouse buying out the other's share, selling the home and splitting the proceeds, or continuing to co-own the home temporarily, often until the children are older. Each option has its own financial and emotional implications, and it's important to carefully consider what's best for your situation. It's also crucial to remember that while the matrimonial home may have sentimental value, it's ultimately a financial asset. Making decisions based on emotions rather than financial reality can lead to difficult situations down the road. Finally, let's talk about financial planning after the divorce is finalized. Divorce is a major life transition, and it's essential to take steps to secure your financial future. First, create a budget that reflects your new financial reality. This means taking into account your income, any spousal or child support you may receive or pay, and your expenses. It's important to be realistic about your financial situation and make adjustments where necessary. Next, review and update your estate plan, including your will, power of attorney, and beneficiary designations. Divorce can have significant implications for your estate, and you want to ensure that your assets are distributed according to your wishes. It's also a good time to reassess your insurance needs. This includes life, health, and disability insurance. If you are covered under your spouse's health insurance plan, you'll need to arrange for your own coverage. Finally, consider speaking with a financial advisor who can help you develop a long-term financial plan. This might include saving for retirement, investing, or managing debt. A financial advisor can help you set and achieve financial goals that align with your new circumstances. Divorce can be financially challenging, but with the right knowledge and preparation, you can navigate this process and come out on the other side with a solid financial foundation. Remember, it's crucial to work with a qualified family lawyer and possibly other professionals like financial advisors or accountants to ensure that your financial interests are protected throughout the divorce process. Thank you for joining me today on the Divorce Lawyers podcast. If you have any questions or need further information, don't hesitate to reach out to us at DivorceLawyers.ca. Be sure to tune in next time, where we'll discuss another important aspect of family and divorce law in Ontario. Until then, take care and remember, you don't have to navigate this journey alone.